Here we go.
Good evening. Are you ready for an hour of gentle yoga, trauma-oriented, hopefully helping with trauma relief? Throughout the class, I will be sharing some information, maybe not, I don't know. Sometimes I forget about it, but just if I share something about trauma, just understand that it comes from my own experience. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist. I just like to share things that help me with other people. And maybe somebody else finds relief because of that. And you'll see that my dogs will join me throughout class, and that's fine with me. And I hope it's fine with you as well. I have Jasper right here. And then this is Kirsa. And you may have seen Sybil, the bigger dog, and Kasha, the little dog. Maybe they'll show up again later on. So I'm gonna just start with just a quick description of what it feels like to live in a body that has trauma or that has stored trauma. It often feels like you are not connected. So sometimes it feels like I'm floating, or it feels like I don't feel my feet or my hands. Sometimes it just feels like I'm looking at myself from a different perspective. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you might think that sounds really crazy, but this is all called dissociation, and it's common in people who have trauma. There are other types of dissociation also, but this is the type of dissociation that I think yoga can help with, because throughout class I will remind you to focus on how you feel, what your body's responses are. And that's all cues for you to stay connected. So not to allow your body or your mind to take you out of this yoga situation. So those are cues to stay with it. I hope this makes sense to you. And if it doesn't make sense to you and you don't know what I'm talking about, then you probably don't have trauma, and that's a great thing. Okay? So come to a comfortable position. You can be seated or you can lie down if you like. But if you are seated, try to sit with a straight back with your shoulders back and down, and then gently close your eyes. And bring your attention inward. And just notice what's going on inside of you. On a physical, mental, and emotional level. And try to observe without judging. So whatever feelings you come across, acknowledge them, but try not to dwell on them, and try not to label them either. Let everything that's happening around you drift into the background. however you have positioned yourself, either seated or lying down, notice all the different areas where your body is touching the floor or your mat. And just feel that connection. Maybe you can imagine yourself rooting through the floor into the earth. And just understand that you are secure wherever you are, however you are situated right at this moment. And then bring your attention to your breath. We're going to employ a breathing technique that signals to your parasympathetic nervous system that it is okay to relax a little bit. I'm going to count you for the first round, and then you're going to continue on your own. We're going to inhale on a count of 4, and then hold at the top of the breath, and then exhale on a count of 6 or more, and hold again at the bottom of the breath. So like I said, I'm going to count the first round, and then you continue on your own. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold. Continue on your own. And then continue to breathe naturally. Take your hands to your knees and let your chin fall to your chest. And then begin to roll out your neck. We do this every time we begin with class, just because I feel that if we just keep the head still, we never realize all the little achy, creaky areas in the neck that build up during the day. I usually just notice all of a sudden when I start rotating my head how many tight areas I have in my neck. Go ahead and switch directions. If you feel like you need to hold the stretch anywhere in your rotation, go ahead and do so. Which also reminds me to remind you that tonight is your night. So whatever I'm doing is just a mere suggestion, and you are free to follow me, or you can do whatever feels better to you. You can modify your poses, or you can sit them out if you like, or you can just substitute. Bring your right ear over your right shoulder and hold. Just make sure you're safe with whatever you're doing. And then go ahead and bring your left ear over your left shoulder and hold. Think about maybe pulling both shoulders back and down. Notice the stretch in the side of your neck. And then let your head hang in the center. Lengthen your spine, but let your chin drop. And then look straight ahead and open your eyes to a soft gaze. We'll start by bringing the legs out in front of us. You can keep the knees bent a little bit. If you have a pillow or a blanket or a towel, you feel free to roll it up or bunch it up underneath your knees to make it a little bit more comfortable. Inhale, reach your arms up, and then as you exhale, just let your upper body fall forward. Don't push yourself, don't press it. You haven't really warmed up yet, but notice where all you feel this. Notice if you feel it in your lower back, in your hamstrings, and your calves. And just take it in. Don't push. Tonight is not the night to push yourself to your limits. Pick your upper body up. And then come to your hands and knees, and we're going to move through cat and cow. I always do cat and cow, or most of the time anyway, because that's a very efficient way to warm up the back and the spine. So exhale as you pull your back round, let your head hang. And inhale as you sway your back and look up. And then using your own breathing pattern, do this on your own. Exhale to cat and inhale to cow. Pay attention to your spine and your back, and also your hips. Try to exaggerate the movements. So you really want to have a good awareness of what your back feels like tonight so that you can adjust your practice accordingly. So if your back is a little achy, you probably do want to use a towel whenever we have the legs straight, or a pillow, and put something underneath your knees. That alleviates a little bit of lower back strain feeling. Now, if you really have an injury in your back, you have to be careful, really careful. Widen your knees and pull into extended child's pose. And as always on Fridays, I remind you to press the third eye region, which is this region right here between your eyebrows, and press it firmly into the mat. And if you happen to have a little bit of anxiety, this should relieve your anxiety. Maybe not completely, but it'll help. Let's move the arms around to the heels and try to completely relax the upper body. And notice what's going on. Can you relax it completely, or are there areas in your upper body that want to keep holding tension? Try to work with your body. And then we'll take the arms forward, spreading the fingers wide, tucking the toes under for our first downward facing dog of the evening, and maybe the entire day. Pedal your feet back and forth. I'm going to go ahead and turn my heater off. I have to have it on for a moment there. It was really cold. There we go. It's probably more quiet now for me. I also wanted to mention that yoga is usually more entertaining if you have music on. So go ahead and choose your own music. That'd probably be really motivating if you take something that you really like to listen to. And then go ahead and settle into your down dog. Spread your fingers. You can still move a little bit. Then slowly come to stillness. Let your head just hang. It's not about being perfect. It's about yoga, staying connected, and feeling good about yourself. Take slow, deep breaths. Slowly begin to walk your feet towards your hands. Take as many steps as necessary. Keep your knees bent. And then let your body hang in ragdoll. Notice how the crown of my head faces straight down. So I'm not looking forward, which will put strain on my neck. And I don't want that right now. I want to have a loose upper body. Shake out your head if you need to. Roll out your shoulders. Keep your upper body loose. And notice what that feels like. Feel your feet connect with the earth. You're secure, you're safe. It's just you and your body practicing yoga. Slowly roll up your back, one vertebra at a time. Really pay attention again. And then when you get up here, slide your shoulder blades down your back. And tonight, let's go ahead and do a little balancing sequence. So bring your body weight onto your left foot, and if your toes spread, go ahead and spread them out wide so that you're secure. And then lift your right leg up. Try to have your knee or your thigh parallel to the floor. But if that's not happening, that's fine. As a matter of fact, if you're having problems with your balance tonight, you can either hold on to something or you can just use your big toe as a kickstand and use as little assistance from that big toe as possible. Let's take the right hand to the right knee and open up the knee to the side. Open it to the right. Maybe you can flex your right foot. And if you have problems with your balance and you keep wobbling around, just be playful with it. There's no need to be perfect, and balance varies from day to day, so don't judge yourself on this. Bring your knee back to the center, and then switch your hands, and bring the knee over to the left. So you're going past the midline. And if you have tight hips, you might feel this in your outer hip here. See what I'm talking about? My balance is obviously off tonight. It's okay. Take your leg back to the center and either hold it here or maybe you can extend it. Oh, maybe not. There we go. And then release it down. Good job. Roll out the ankle off the foot you were standing on, and then we'll switch sides. Spread your toes on the right side, and then begin by lifting your left leg up. Again, if you can, try to have your thigh parallel to the floor. If not, oh my gosh, if not, the option there is to put your big toe down and just try to give yourself as little assistance as possible. And then take your left hand to your left knee and open up your knee to the side. Maybe you feel a little stretch in your inner thigh here. Try to breathe through it. It's another point. Sometimes when we are concentrating so much on what we're doing, we tend to hold the breath, and that really doesn't help. Bring your knee back to the center and over to the other side. Okay, try it again. And then bring your leg back to the center and maybe extend it. If you do extend it, think about leveling your hips. And then bring your left leg down and roll out your right ankle. Good job. And let's just go back to the front edge of the mat. Inhaling up. Think about really making nice big movements with your arms. When your arms are right next to your ears, engage your abdominal muscles, and then maybe you can add a little back bend here. Pay attention though to how your own back feels. If back bends like this don't feel good to you, just stay in a neutral position. And then slowly roll down one vertebra at a time until you are once again in ragdoll. I want to invite you also to close your eyes whenever you feel like it, if you feel comfortable with it. Because when you close your eyes, at least for me, I can always feel a better connection between my mind and my body when there's no other stimulus from the outside world. And then step back into your down dog. And let's hang out here for a couple of breaths. And while you're here, scan your body, moving up and down your legs, up and down your arms, across your torso, front and back. Just notice all the different sensations your body is giving you. And remember, try not to put any labels on the sensations you come across. So when I say labels, that means maybe you come across a little bit of tightness in your hamstring muscles. And a label would be that feels bad. If it does, I don't know. It's just an example. But so try to leave the label off. You just go, oh, I feel my hamstrings. Okay, they are a little tight. Yes, I feel my feet. They feel good. That kind of thing. So just when you're scanning your body, leave off the labels if you can. Let's come forward into a knee plank. So you're bringing your shoulders over your wrists and then slowly lower yourself all the way down to your stomach and inhale into a cobra pose, using only the muscles in your back. Pull your upper body up and pull your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen your neck. So your neck is in alignment with your spine. You're looking at the floor in front of you. You're not looking up. If you look up for just a second, you feel how that puts tension into your neck. We don't want that. Taking a deep breath here. And then exhale. And let's inhale to extended child's pose. Once again, pressing the third eye down. back to your downward facing dog. Coming back forward into a knee plank. Slowly lower yourself all the way down again. And then this time, take your hands to the small of your back, and as you inhale, lift up into locust pose or shalabhasana. Keeping the head in alignment with the spine, lift your arms up off your back and reach the knuckles towards your feet. And just notice where you feel this. Where all do you feel this? Maybe your shoulders, definitely your back, but also your legs, your booty. Slowly take it down, inhale. Exhale. And then inhale to extended child's pose and press your third eye down. And then stay here and breathe. And notice how your body feels now that you started to move a little bit more. I'm sure there's a response from your body. You just need to listen to it. And then come back up into a downward facing dog. We're moving just a little bit more tonight than we usually do on a Friday because I want to get into a little bit of a deeper stretch here in a moment, and we need to warm up just a little bit more. So let's come forward into a knee plank once again. And all the way down to the stomach. And then this time, keeping the knees on the floor, we're lifting up into a modified up dog. So lift up, come out of your shoulders, direct your gaze either up or forward, and then drop your left hip and look over your right shoulder, and drop your right hip and look over your left shoulder, and just move from side to side like this. And notice all the different areas where you feel this. This should feel really good. It usually does to me anyway. If it feels good to you, feel free to sink into your shoulders just for a little bit. Rocking from side to side, and then pulling back into extended child's pose. Let's breathe. And then help yourself up onto your knees. Sorry. We're going to bring the right foot forward. And now we're going to bring the left foot up. And maybe you can grab it. And if you have it, just stay here and experiment with how far you can take the stretch. So how far can you pull your heel towards your butt? And then feel the stretch nicely in your quadriceps, the front of your thighs. This should feel really good. It's a deep stretch in the front of your thigh. Like I said, we're not really warm, so you need to make sure you work at your own level with this. If this gets too intense, just drop the leg. And then gently let it go. And we're going to switch sides. So the left foot steps forward. And again, you're bending the knee. And then you're going to see if you can get a hold of your leg and pull on that foot. And then place yourself into a position that you can hold for just a moment. Feel the stretch in the front of your quadricep, in the front of your thigh, which is your quadriceps muscle. And just hang out here for a moment. Breathe through it. And maybe you can also notice that one side feels different than the other. Again, try not to label it, just try to observe. And then release. And come back into your downward facing dog. Breathing in and out. Let's walk the hands back to the feet this time. As you do that, bend your knees. And you're going to wind up in ragdoll once again. Slowly roll your back up one vertebra at a time. Notice your back respond. And then slide your shoulder blades down your back. And we will go ahead and take the feet out wide. Taking the hands, actually, I think I'll face you back like this. Take your hands to the small of your back and support yourself really firmly. And then lifting the heart towards the sky. Bend your back. If it feels comfortable for you, you can let your head drop. That never feels good to me, so I won't do it. And then slowly come back to center, and now let your upper body go all the way down. Hands to the floor. You can experiment with the width of your legs. Some of you might be able to put the crown of the head all the way down to the floor. If you can, make that connection. Go ahead. Feel the earth underneath your head and underneath your feet and also underneath your hands. And then take your hands behind your legs and slowly begin to pull yourself a little bit closer. Think about, this is a goal. This is not what's going to happen tonight, but think about pulling your upper body all the way through to the other side of your legs. That's the direction you want to go into. And at the same time, make sure that you don't start holding tension in your neck. Let your head just hang. And breathe. And then release your hands. Place them over to your right foot. Now, here I'm going to give you a couple of options. If you want to stay low, bend your knee, pick up the left foot, and just hang out here. Okay, so making sure that the knee and the toes face the same direction. If this is too much, too deep for you, you can do this up here also. Just either way, you're stretching over to the side. You're feeling a stretch in your inner thigh of the left leg. Breathe through it slowly and deeply. And then slowly we are going to begin to move over to the other side. And I think this is the side where I'm going to have problems. So I'm going to probably have to go high. Well, maybe my leg is working tonight, so I can do it. Anyway, this does not feel as comfortable to me as it did on the other side. You can probably see that. Breathing through it. then slowly take it back to the center. Take your hands to your thighs and take your upper body halfway up. Flatten out your back. So think about reaching the tailbone straight behind you and the crown of your head straight forward. And then take your arms out to the side. And reach into opposite directions with your fingertips. And then slowly bring your upper body up. Inhale. And exhale as you bring your hands back down and take your feet back together. So inhale up. And exhale, just roll it back down. And we're going to come onto the knees. Working our way into pigeon pose. So this is going to be a deep stretch in your inner thigh, in your groin area, and also in your outer hip area, and any other place where you might feel tight tonight. So bring your hands in front and take your right knee to your right wrist. And then slowly slide your left foot back. Looking back there, make sure your toes are facing straight back and not inward like this. And then get comfortable in your pigeon pose. Again, tonight is not the night where you want to push yourself. Tonight is the night where you actually want to feel good in your pigeon pose. If that means that you have to sit over on your right butt cheek a little bit, that's fine. Alternatively, you can also place a pillow right here underneath your thigh. That will make it a little easier. But let's stay up high for a moment. Notice where all you feel this. This is probably going to be like, I notice this pretty much all over my body. But just kind of try and pick out the different areas. And then slowly let your upper body come down. And press the third eye down into the mat and then take your arms alongside the body. And then see if you can relax here for a moment. Scan your body and find the areas that want to try and hold tension. And maybe you can relax those areas if you find them. For my body always wants to brace when I'm in pigeon pose. It's like it does not want to allow me to relax completely, so I have to really make an effort at it. And then when you're comfortable in your pigeon pose, start directing your attention to your breath. Don't hold your breath. And slowly come back up. Move that right foot behind you and wiggle it out a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So bring your left knee to your left wrist. And you're going to probably immediately feel that one side is different than the other. Slide your right foot back. Make sure it is not pointing inward. And then stay up high for a moment. Maybe you can add a little arch in your lower back. Bring your shoulders back and down. And be Begin to scan where all you feel this in your body. Slowly breathing. And then let your upper body come forward and down. Once again, pressing the third eye down. And then take your arms alongside your body and begin to scan your body. Feel all the different, or acknowledge all the different areas where you feel the stretch. Leave the labels off. Just acknowledge. And try to stay connected. So sometimes when you are, and I'm not saying you are necessarily uncomfortable in this pose, but I do know that these deeper stretches can get sometimes a little bit uncomfortable for some people. And then the tendency is to let the mind wander off so that you're not thinking about how uncomfortable you are. But tonight I want to invite you to stay connected. So stay with it and breathe and using your breath to make yourself a little bit more comfortable. And then gently pick your upper body back up. And we're going to bring the left leg back and we're going to wiggle it out a little bit. You can shake your tail just a little. And then come on over onto your back. Help yourself on the way down. And hug your knees into your body. Hug them in tightly. You can let your hips rock off the floor if you like. And then make little circles on the floor, using the floor to massage your back. Go in both directions. And extend your left leg. Keep pulling your right knee in. And now, depending on how tight your hamstring muscles are, take your hands either behind your hamstring, this is for the tighter variety of hamstring muscle, or take your hands behind your calf and extend your right leg up. And then when your leg is in the air, gently begin to pull it closer to you. And when you feel you've reached your maximum potential for now, see what it feels like if you pull your toes towards you and they push the heel towards the ceiling. You should have felt, when you did that, you should have felt the stretch go from just your hamstring all the way down the calf to your Achilles tendon. This can get pretty intense. If that's too much, just let your foot go. Taking slow, deep breaths. Notice all the areas of your leg that are tight, that you're stretching now. You're making it feel better. And then bend your left leg and cross the right leg over the left. Right knee right on top of the left knee. Get a hold of both ankles and pull your ankles towards you. And you can experiment how big you want to make your angle at the knee. Notice the stretch in the outer hip of the leg that's on top. That's a nice deep hip stretch. Stay connected to your hip. Notice the stretch, even if it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Slowly release it and extend your right leg out. Hug your left knee into your body. And then you decide if you want to place your hands behind your hamstring or behind your calf. As you slowly extend your leg up, your foot is neutral right now, so let it just be. And pull your leg in to wherever you feel you're getting a nice deep stretch without hurting yourself. And then once again, we're going to experiment pulling the toes towards the face and reaching the heel towards the ceiling. And notice how that transferred the stretch down your lower leg into your ankle. This really gets intense. At least for me it does. Notice what your body is responding to you with. What types of sensations are you feeling? Acknowledge them. Slowly breathing. And let's go ahead and bend the right knee and cross the left leg over the right. Cross the legs tightly and then pull your lower legs towards you. And again, experiment with the size of the angle at your knees. The bigger you make the angle, the more intense you make the stretch. I have to think about which way the angle gets bigger. I'm pretty good in math, but geometry and trigonometry were not my thing. I just didn't enjoy that subject. And then gently release your legs. Place both feet onto the floor. And then taking the hands alongside the body, lift up into a bridge. Come on up, one vertebra at a time. Roll your shoulders underneath you. Interlace your fingers underneath your body. And hang out here for a moment. Careful that you keep the weight of your body on your shoulders and not on your head and neck. So if you had to, you could lift up your head and neck. You don't have to, but you could if you had to. And then slowly come back down, one vertebra at a time. And once again, hug your knees into your body. And if you like, make yourself into a small package, bringing the forehead to the knees. And again, if you like, rock forward and back to give your spine and your lower back a little massage. And then come back onto your back. Let your arms come out wide. Let both knees drop over to the right. Let your head roll to the left. Now, if you like a deeper stretch here, you can take this right foot out from under the left leg and place it on top of the knee. So you're using the weight of the top leg to intensify this twisting stretch. You should feel this through your midsection. Also, if you have tight muscles in your hip area, you Feel this right across here. Take deep breaths, and if you're comfortable with it, close your eyes. Try not to hold any tension in your shoulders and your upper body. Try to let your body relax in the stretch. And then slowly bring your legs back to the center. Align yourself on your mat. And then let your knees drop to the left and let your head roll to the right. And again, if you like that extra weight, bring your left leg on top of the right and just use the weight of your leg to get you a little bit deeper into the stretch. Notice where all you feel the stretch. Also, maybe you notice a difference between the two sides. And stay here and breathe. And again, if you're comfortable with it, close your eyes. And then slowly take it back to the center. Align yourself on your mat. And if you have a pillow nearby or a yoga block or a rolled up towel, go ahead and place that underneath your lower back. And then we're just gonna lift up the legs to the sky, closing the eyes. We're reversing the flow. Sometimes at the end of the day, fluids want to pool in the ankles and the feet, and this helps with the flow back towards the heart. Go ahead and rotate your ankles. Scrunch up your toes, point and flex your feet. Give your feet a little love. We're going to hang out here for just a moment. Slow down your breathing. If your legs are tired, feel free to hold on to them. And then slowly begin to bend your legs and place your feet onto your mat.
Placing the soles of your feet together. Let your knees fall down towards the floor. And then place your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart. Gently close your eyes. Bring your focus back to your breath. Let your belly come out as you inhale. Think about pushing your right hand away with your inflating belly. And then drawing your navel to the spine, pulling the belly away from your hand as you exhale. At the same time, feel your heart beat into your left hand. Allow your knees to fall closer to the floor if they want to. And you feel free to stay just like this, to continue relaxing, or feel free to come into any position that is more comfortable for you and that you feel that you can stay in for just a moment longer. Whichever position you choose, try to get comfortable. And just take a moment again to scan your body, moving from the toes all the way to the top of your head, and everywhere you go, try to let your body relax and release. There's no need to hold any tension right now. Allow yourself to surrender and let go. gently begin to make movements in your fingers and your toes. Let your thumbs brush up against the pads of your fingers and notice the tingling sensation, waking up your hands and your fingers, noticing what it feels like when you're bringing your body back from the deep relaxation. Maybe it feels good to let out a little sigh. And then place your feet onto your mat. And as you slowly inhale, reach your arms behind you. Stretch. And then exhale and curl up on your right side, making a pillow with your hands. Thank yourself for showing up on your mat tonight. Try to keep that mind-body connection going. Notice what your body feels like now after you did a little workout and then you had a nice, good time to relax. And then help yourself up to a comfortable seated position, bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra, slightly bow your head. And again, notice your heartbeat. And notice your chest rise and fall as you're breathing. And I surely hope you feel good about yourselves. You did a great job tonight. So thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Hi, Kirsa. You may have heard Kirsa snoring during Shavasana. She was very relaxed. I hope you were too. So if you want to tip me, you can do so via the Venmo app at Dominique Harding, all one word, and the D and the H are capitalized. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Bye now.